All right, the president of the United States does not care about the Constitution. He doesn't care about Americans. He doesn't care about America. He cares about his ego. And any exposure to how insecure and incompetent and ignorant he is, he fights vociferously. And there are two huge news stories about this regime's attacks on the First Amendment. Trump is using his personal attorney and acting AG, Todd Blanche, the same Todd Blanche that met with Ghislaine Maxwell by himself, no other assistant attorneys in the room, to wage the most brazen attack on political enemies in modern history. Let's play the clip.
Today, a grand jury sitting in the Eastern District of North Carolina returned an indictment against James Comey on 2 counts. The first count is that on or about May 15th of last year, he knowingly and willfully making a threat to take the life of and to inflict bodily harm upon the President of the United States. Count 2, same day, May 15th, 2025, that the defendant, James Comey, knowingly and willfully transmitting in interstate commerce a communication that contained a threat to kill the President of the United States. Both of these counts carry a maximum term of imprisonment of 10 years.
Okay. What fascinates me so much about the Trump regime is how many people are making a video record of how stupid they are, of how reckless they are, of how much they oppose individual liberty. Todd Blanche is going to go on with his life, and he's going to, once he's dead, what will remain are these videos of him being a fascist collaborator and somebody who actively wants to dismantle free speech. Here is the post in question. Let's pop this up. So James Comey posted 8647. And I don't know about you guys, but when I was in college, I waited tables all the time. And the big thing was cheeseburger, 86 tomatoes, cheeseburger, 86 onions. It doesn't mean kill. It means, in this reference, it clearly means impeach, get rid of. Everybody knows that James Comey, with this seashell post, is not talking about killing the president, but the president is laser focused on resentment. So 87 is slang for get rid of, and 47 is referring to him being the 47th president. Trump and his DOJ are claiming that this was a call for Trump to be killed. That is ridiculous. These are people that, oh my God, the left, they're such snowflakes. This is a master class in what it is to be a snowflake. And not just Trump. We all know he's a snowflake, but all these alpha males humiliating themselves on national television. Kash Patel claimed that the DOJ had been working on the case for 11 months. 11 months the DOJ is working on a Instagram post with seashells on it from James Comey. People like Matt Gaetz, Trump's original pick for attorney general, use the same language about Mitch McConnell and former speaker Kevin McCarthy. So as always with MAGA, it's the rules that apply to you don't apply to us. We get to be titty babies. We get to be hysterical. We get to put on embarrassing displays of what it is, a master class to be an idiotic lawyer like Todd Blanche, who doesn't care about DOJ. That whole thing was for an audience of one, a man who's laser focused on spending $400 million of your money on this ballroom. And here are all of the things that Trump has said, just a few of the things I should say that Trump has said. Pop this up. Trump floats the idea of executing Joint Chiefs Chairman Milley. The former president is inciting violence against the nation's top general. America's response is distracted and numb. Trump and GOP Representative Gosar suggests Joint Chiefs boss Mark Milley deserves death. Trump suggests Liz Cheney should be shot. Trump blasts prosecutor he appointed for not giving Hunter Biden, quote, the death sentence. So as you can see, this is a classic psychological case of projection. He wants to kill his enemies, as I just lined out there. So he has to assume, oh my God, James Comey must want me dead, because that's what he wants for people. This is the same president that asked his defense secretary, can I shoot protesters in the leg to clear them out of the park in front of the White House? This is the same president that everybody who worked for in Trump 1.0 came out of it and said, he is a fascist through and through. This is the same president who jokes around, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and my supporters would still like me. This is a very, at least psychologically, violent man who surrounds himself with equal people that have the same sense of violence. You can think about Stephen Miller and telling ICE agents, you're unshackled, do what you want to now. So we have ICE agents shooting protesters and calling them a fucking bitch. Is there any trial? Is there any investigation? No. They called the murder victim a terrorist. So this is such propaganda. And after the DOJ issued an arrest warrant for the former FBI director, James Comey, he responded with a video. Let's play the clip.
This time about a picture of seashells on a North Carolina beach a year ago. And this won't be the end of it. But nothing has changed with me. I'm still innocent. I'm still not afraid. And I still believe in the independent federal judiciary, so let's go. But it's really important that all of us remember this is not who we are as a country. This is not how the Department of Justice is supposed to be. And the good news is we get closer every day to restoring those values.
All right, this is the second time the Trump regime has tried to indict Comey. He was charged with lying to Congress during a 2020 Senate hearing about the Russia investigation. A court found that the top prosecutor, the wholly unqualified Lindsay Halligan, who secured the indictment, had been illegally appointed and the case was dropped. Halligan was Trump's personal attorney with no prosecutorial experience, basically the only person willing to take on the case. And here's the through line here. Todd Blanche was the only person willing to go sit down with a child sex trafficker who participated in raping children, Ghislaine Maxwell. Todd Blanche was the guy that was willing to say, hey, don't worry, I'll go sit down with this person. I'll offer her immunity. I'll offer her a deal. And he had her transferred to a new prison. What is the through line here? Todd Blanche works for one person, a little teeny tiny man with little teeny tiny hands who has a massive ego problem, who is wildly insecure. Lindsay Halligan is a dipshit who was trying to curry favor with a complete moron that 77 million Americans voted for because they didn't realize that he was a con artist. And boy, are they having buyer's remorse now. And Caitlin Collins is reporting the following. Let's pop this up. Former DOJ official tells me this might be the worst case DOJ has filed in my lifetime. This was the same DOJ that has declined a record number of cases in Trump's second term. Let's pop this up. The change in priorities was outlined in a series of memos sent to attorneys early last year. Trump's DOJ has said it is turning the page on white-collar and corporate enforcement and emphasizing the pursuit of drug cartels, illegal immigrants, and institutions that promote divisive DEI policies. Here's the problem, you guys. All of these fiscal conservatives, and how many of you, viewer, how many of you know people who play this middle ground? Oh, well, I'm socially liberal, but I'm fiscally conservative. And in that fiscal conservatism, they think the Republican Party is fiscally conservative. We know that's a lie. We know that all of the deficit that is added to the federal deficit is through Republican presidents. We know that these guys lie and propagandize that trickle-down economics work. The biggest lie the Republican Party perpetuates. The problem when you start dismantling the rule of law is all of these businessmen, these conservative businessmen. The rule of law upholds the economy. Point, period. So if you have a contract or a business dispute with somebody and you want to take them to court, the rule of law is completely dismantled because all somebody has to do is pick up the phone and call Todd Blanche, call Kash Patel, call Stephen Miller, call Donald Trump, call Jared Kushner and say, hey, I fucked up. I defrauded these people $50 million. I don't want to go to prison. Can you kick this lawsuit out? And they'll go, yeah, sure. Give us some money for the ballroom. So this is a complete crime syndicate. And here's the thing. James Comey fucked us. I will never forget in 2016. I will never forget it. It was a few days before the election. I get this alert on my phone that's like James Comey, and it was the whole Hillary Clinton email thing again. And so the fact that Trump, somebody who was instrumental in helping Trump get elected the first time, who curried favor to these crazy Republican narratives, that Trump is still going after him, tells you this man, there is not a file of indictments big enough that will ever fix Trump. And our federal government has completely abdicated all regulatory and policymaking authority except when they can be used to punish Trump's enemies and enrich Trump and his cronies. Another huge story is breaking. The FCC is coming after Disney. Pop this up. The FCC is gearing up to launch a formal review of the broadcast licenses granted to Disney's 8 owned ABC stations over complaints about Jimmy Kimmel's joke about Melania Trump looking like an expectant widow. So basically, this federal government that all of us have paid all of these taxes into is for Donald Trump and Melania Trump, for people to protect their hurt feelings. They're mad at Jimmy Kimmel because Jimmy Kimmel hurt their feelings because Melania Trump is a trophy wife. It is rumored all over the internet that Donald Trump and Melania have some bullshit story about how they met. That's why she did this. Oh, look, here's my surprise press conference about the Epstein files. They cannot stomach any form of joke or criticism because these people are fundamentally broken and they are led and supported by a cult of people that are equally broken. And the New York Times has more reporting about this decision. Let's pop this up. The agency overseeing the review the Federal Communications Commission said in a filing that the review was related to an investigation into ABC's diversity and inclusion policies. And I just want to tell you, that is code for Black people. They have changed, they've moved the goalpost. Now, when you hear diversity or you hear cities, they're referring to Black people and the 77 million people who voted for them. They know that. This is racist signaling via the federal government. Do not be fooled by this. But it came in the middle of a fight this week between Mr. Trump and the network's late night host, Jimmy Kimmel, that prompted the president to demand that ABC fire Mr. Kimmel. So Republicans, hands off. We're about laissez-faire economics. Let the markets decide stuff. Trump, all of the things they scared you about, like don't tread on me and we don't want the government involved in business. Trump is doing all of those things. Where are the don't tread on me guys? Where are they now? They are ICE agents. They're treading on people. And all of the laissez-faire, I'm a fiscal conservative, I don't want the government dictating what we do. Now they're supporting Trump, who, this Carr, Brendan Carr, this is another dipshit whose entire career now has videographic evidence of him debasing himself for a party of one, not for the American people, not for public safety, for a petulant senior citizen toddler. And all of these things are going to outlive this Trump regime. We've got, what, 3 years left, 998 days left. All of this video evidence is going to live longer than this lame dementia duck president. And FCC chair Brendan Carr explained what the administration is saying publicly about the reason for taking this action on Katie Miller, the wife of Stephen Miller, on her podcast. The same Katie Miller that says women shouldn't be fixated on their careers. They should be fixated on breeding. Here she is in her career talking to dipshit and fascist Brendan Carr. Play the clip.
DEI, you founded a company. And how do you attack that, outside of the FCC at some of these private corporations?
Well, we're still looking at it, but up to now, there's evidence that Disney has been pretty bad. There's evidence suggesting that Disney, literally was, dividing and categorizing employees based on race and gender, and potentially, we'll see what the evidence establishes, ultimately giving different opportunities to people based on their race or gender or other protected class. And we're going to get some more discovery from Disney on that, but that could raise character questions about the company long term.
Okay, so obviously this is complete and total bullshit. He's making shit up. They're going after ABC because they want to send a message to the media that this president is above scrutiny, above jokes, and if you call him out, you will be punished. And ABC News, do not capitulate. Everybody who has taken Trump to court has won. All of the knee benders are stuck in this humiliation ritual with him, making participation trophies to try to fix an ego and hurt feelings that will never be fixed, ever. Do not bend the knee. This man has a 30% approval rating. This guy is a lame duck. He falls asleep in public. He's laser focused on stupid shit. His ballroom, his arch. He's got us in the middle of a war. ABC, have some balls. Some industry titans have got to stand up for their customers. Stand up for the people that made you a multi-billion-dollar company. Because Trump, if you bend the knee to him, he will think that your company is his. He thinks the White House is his. He thinks that Air Force One is his. He thinks all of the United States of America is his. Do not, under any circumstances, bend the knee to this petulant dementia duck toddler. And the sole Democratic commissioner of the FCC is speaking out. Let's play the clip.
Today, though, I understand, are the most egregious assault on the First Amendment that you have ever seen. That's not a small thing to say. How come you feel that way?
Yes, that is correct. This is the most egregious assault on the First Amendment that we have seen from this FCC. It is unprecedented, it is unlawful, and it is bound to fail. And I'm glad to see that Disney is going to push back because it has the First Amendment on its side.
That's right, Disney, push back, lawyer up, and Jimmy Kimmel, keep going. Ladies at The View, keep going. Do not bend the knee to this insecure, diaper-wearing, full face of makeup-wearing dipshit surrounded by completely broken people who do not give a shit about your company. They do not care where your company is 10 years from now. This is a short-term impulsive, we have to appease the tyrant. Do not do it. Do not obey in advance. Will somebody in this country, some industry titans, grow a pair and tell the Trump regime to go fuck themselves? We're lawyered up and we will see you in court. Do it.